I think we all feel comfortable understanding that it's not over, but we all feel comfortable on how the Lions rank with the first hurdle, which is in the NFC North. We feel comfortable that they very well could legitimately be the best team in the NFC North. A lot of football to be played, but we feel comfortable there. Where do they rank it? The next hurdle, right, is the NFC. And I think, I mean, justifiably, people would have San Francisco and Philadelphia. Both 4-0. They're supposed to be the best two teams. They're off to perfect starts. Why would you put the Lions ahead of them? Where would the Lions rank in the NFC?
Well, I would imagine that Dallas is also in that running, and just by looking at some numbers here, I mean, Dallas has scored more points and given up fewer points than the Lions. The point in Dallas's point differential, I think, does it lead the league? I think it does. They're plus 83 through 4 games in point differential. It's behind the Bills. Bills are plus 84. I would guess the Lions rank behind Dallas, so that would be
okay. Let me argue here against Dallas a little bit.
Yeah,
Dallas has played the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
The New York Jets.
Terrible.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Terrible.
And the New England Patriots.
Terrible.
Those teams are combined 4-12.
They lost to Arizona. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's terrible. But Dallas has one of the best players on defense in the league, unquestioned. They've got an offense that's put up a lot of points. I could see why Dallas be ahead, and I'm going to guess that because it's still America's team, and ESPN probably loves Dallas. I would imagine the Lions are 5th in the conference, behind San Fran, Philly. I'm sorry, 4th in the conference, behind San Fran, Philly, and Dallas.
So the Lions have played Kansas City, who's 3-1, Seattle, who's 3-1, so that's 6-2. Atlanta is 2-2, so that's 8-4. And Green Bay is 2-2. So the Lions teams are 10-6.
I think it's a better resume than Dallas. Yep. Don't get me wrong. The Lions have the better resume, but I mean Dallas is still. It's the point differential is crazy good, and again, it's about the players that they have.
Yes, I mean, if it's not about resume, I don't know how we're doing power rankings, but fair.
I don't know anybody that has power
rankings. You're right. I guess it's everybody's singular definition. So you think it's.
You're asking me where I think ESPN has it. Where I have it is probably different, but where
okay.
Because I don't.
So you go Philly and San Francisco, the two best teams in the NFC, followed by Dallas. Does Detroit rank ahead or behind Seattle?
Kind
of seems like you got to rank them behind Seattle.
Well, you would think you would have to because of Seattle beating Detroit head to head, and yet I'm not going to, which defies logic, I guess. They lost on a coin flip. They lost the game because of a coin flip.
So,
but I'll still have them at 4.
I would go San Francisco, Philly, Seattle, Detroit, Dallas.
So you have them at 4. It's just that you flip Dallas and Seattle.
I'd have them behind Seattle, but definitely ahead of Dallas.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even think about Seattle. So if I were to have a mulligan on that.
Okay, go for it.
It would be San Francisco, Philadelphia.
Dallas, Seattle, Detroit.
Seattle beat Detroit, so Seattle's got the best win. Dallas, then Detroit.
Seattle, Dallas, Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I think that ESPN will have it.
Here's what ESPN has. San Francisco, they have ranked as the number 1 team in the NFL at 4-0. Philadelphia, number 2 in the NFL at 4-0. Buffalo out of the AFC at 3. Kansas City out of the AFC at 4. At number 5, the Dallas Cowboys.
At 5?
At 5 in the NFL.
All right.
3rd in the NFC. Miami 6. Baltimore 7. Detroit 8. Tampa 9 and Seattle 10. I think they have Seattle way too low, and I think they got Dallas way too high.
So did you say Tampa?
Yeah. Tampa at 9.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, Tampa has played Minnesota, Chicago, Philly, and New Orleans.
So the one loss obviously is to Philly. So they beat New Orleans, who's awful. They beat Chicago, who's awful.
Yep.
And they, I'm guessing, narrowly beat, because every game's one score game with the Vikings. They narrowly beat the Vikings, which is okay.
I mean, so I'm surprised they have Tampa that high.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting. I mean, look, power rankings, they mean nothing, right? The Lions have it. Is it the best loss in the National Football League to have? Because Seattle's 3-1.
What would be the best loss in the National Football League?
Seattle's loss is the first week of the season against the Rams.
Might be. You know what's weird? Loss. It might be Minnesota's loss at Philly. That was a close football game. Minnesota found a way to lose.
Well, I guess I'm looking at for the better teams.
The teams that are contending.
Yeah. Because Dallas's loss is to Arizona. That's a terrible loss.
That's a bad loss.
Lions' loss is to Seattle, who's a 3-1 team.
Yep.
And a playoff team from a year ago. Tampa Bay's loss
is to the Eagles, but they lost by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So.
San Francisco's not lost, and again, Seattle, their loss was.
Look, power rankings week 4 don't really matter, but it's just intriguing to see where the Lions fit into the top of the NFC.
Which is the better loss? Detroit to Seattle or Kansas City to Detroit? Like if you're selling your fan base, which do you feel better about?
They both lost at home. I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, in Buffalo and Dallas have terrible losses. Buffalo lost to the freaking Jets.
Yeah. And Dallas lost to Arizona.